Hey babes, it's Jenni from chronicbabe.com, and you're with me for another AWAP Wednesday. AWAP stands for As Well As Possible, and in all things, that's what I hope for you, that you figure out a way to do the best that you can in spite of illness, be as well as possible. This month in our subscription program, The Secret Club, I've been really challenging our members to change, to work on changing small things or big things about their life that they're not in love with. This might mean changing small daily habits. It might mean pursuing a different career. It might mean making all kinds of changes that help your personal relationships grow and thrive. I've been encouraging them to approach lots of change. So I got an email today from one of my members, and she's kind of struggling. So I wanted to share her experience with you and then give you some tips. Okay, so she writes, so I've been good about changing up a few things the first week of January. Then this week I went back to doing things the way I always did before I tried to change them. Well, I'm feeling defeated. I was inspired to try to change things up and keep working towards bigger change, but now I'm wiped out from 1 week of many changes. So how do we keep our changes, whether big or small, going in spite of running out of gas? This is a great question. Change is so hard. It is physically hard. It is emotionally challenging. It brings up all kinds of feelings that we may not have expected. It is intellectually challenging. We have to come up with workarounds and all kinds of other approaches. It is hard. There's no getting around it. And it's very understandable that once you start making some changes that you get kind of worn out from them. So I have a few tips for you. The first tip I have for you is to start where you are right now. Tennis great Arthur Ashe said, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. And this is a philosophy that I've tried to adopt myself in life. It's not always easy, but if we can stay focused on where we are right now, instead of getting too caught up in what's like way down the road, it's a lot easier to work with change. Because if we're looking way down the road all the time, it can be an extremely distracting thing and feel very overwhelming. A great way to start where you are is to kind of do a little reality check. And for this, I like to keep a little journal and write down my goals. Let's say for me, I'm working on some weight loss right now, and it's going well. It's slow but steady, and it's health-based, and it's doctor-approved, so I'm feeling really good about it. If I were to say focus on a goal that was 20 or 30 pounds away, I would constantly be thinking about how I'm not 20 or 30 pounds away. Or I might avoid doing certain things until I'm 20 or 30 pounds away. And that is not a really healthy thing, and it gets really exhausting. If you're thinking about this stuff all the time, it's way down the road. So instead I try to focus on 1 pound. Like, oh my gosh, how much better do my jeans fit even 1 pound down? So if we break our goals into a little goal, which is right where we are and is totally achievable in the near future, it's a lot easier to stay excited and stay motivated, even when it's a little challenging. The second tip I have for you is to pause and think small. Now, I talked about small a minute ago. If you're starting to make small changes and you get overwhelmed, I want you to pause, because it probably means you're doing too much. You're either doing too many things at once or too much for where you are right at that moment. So the best thing you can do is think of the one thing you really want to change the most, and one little step toward making that little change. And do that for a week. Just only do that. Don't try to change a bunch of things, just change one thing. One little thing for a week. And then see how you're doing. And then in a week, if it's going really great, add one more little thing. Or bump up that goal a little bit. So instead of 5 minutes a day of exercise, now it's 7 minutes a day, or whatever. One little thing. Think about it like this. If you wanted to become a more frequent meditator, you would not want to challenge yourself to do 3 30-minute sessions every day. That would be intense. So it's a more reasonable goal to start small and say, I'm going to do 5 minutes a day. I'm going to do 5 minutes a day every day for a week and see how I feel. And then the next week, if you feel like it, maybe you do 2 5-minute sessions a day. Or maybe you stay at 5 minutes a day. Maybe you're good. Maybe it's hard and you're like, I got to do 5 minutes a day for a while until I'm ready to bump it up. Think small. As another example, like if you were trying to add a workout to your daily schedule, you wouldn't suddenly do like a 30-minute jazzercise session every day, even though the outfit with the leg warmers would be awesome. But you would be more successful. I think, it's my opinion, I think it would be more healthy and you have better chances of success if you started with a teeny tiny goal. So for some of us, that might mean committing to taking a 10-minute walk 3 days a week. Or maybe a 10-minute walk every day for a week and see how it goes. Maybe if you've been stuck in bed like almost all the time, maybe for you it's getting out of bed and putting on clothes. I mean, I have a lot of you who write to me and say, you don't even have the energy for showers. So maybe it's figuring out how every day you're going to get up and take a shower and try that for a week and see how you do. Start where you are and think small. Think about the small thing you can do. The third thing is, don't try to play catch up. So let's say you had a goal for you were going to do 20 minutes of cardiovascular exercise by the end of the month. And so each week you were going to add 5 minutes per day. So like the first week you're starting from 0, you're doing 5 minutes a day. And then the next week you're going to do 10 minutes a day. And the next week 15 minutes, and then the next week 20 minutes. And so by the end of a month, you're up to 20 minutes a day of cardio, right? Let's say you have a really shitty week the first week and you don't make it. You're not gonna then push yourself to do 10 minutes a day the next week, even if you're not ready for it. And you're certainly not gonna keep pushing. So think about it as you're starting where you are. Don't try to play catch up. When you try to compound when you fall behind, it is a recipe for disaster and you're gonna get wiped out. If you get overwhelmed and you feel like you're sliding backwards, knock it off with a judgment. Lots of love, no judgment. Lots of patience, no judgment. It's okay. You have to wake up every morning and start where you are. And if you have to start over, no biggie. No one's gonna judge, except for you, and I hope you don't. I was attending a marketing seminar recently, an educational opportunity, and it had to do a little bit with cold calling. And the teacher was talking to us about this idea of not playing catch up. So let's say, for example, I set for myself a goal of every month I was going to do 300 cold calls, and that would parse out to about 10 calls a day. So let's say by the end of the first week, I haven't done 10 calls a day. If I try to then do 20 calls a day the next week to catch up, I'm gonna go insane. There's no way. And then I'm not gonna be doing a good job and I'm gonna get frustrated and I'm gonna get burnt out. So the teacher was instructing us to kind of reset our clock. So you could decide that you're gonna reset your clock every day, or you could decide to reset your clock every week or every month. It's really up to you. But the point is you get to reset the clock. So don't play catch up. Okay? Don't pile on. Reset your clock. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. I know it's kind of a complicated issue, and I'm so happy to talk about it more. If you have dealt with this challenge, and I basically know that you have because every human being does, please join the conversation. If you're not already at chronicbabe.com watching this video, head over there, jump in the comments, talk to us about your experience. I would love to hear how you handle getting overwhelmed with change and what steps have helped you. If you liked this, I hope you'll share it with someone who might benefit from it. And I hope that you'll subscribe to our newsletter. We send a free weekly newsletter to let you know about videos like this, blog posts, contests. I've got a book I'm working on all the time lately. I'm working on the book. So you want to get the first notice when that comes out. I want you to not miss a thing. So sign up at chronicbabe.com today for our free weekly newsletter. Okay, that's it. I love answering your questions. If you've got a question for me, shoot me an email, put it in the comments below, get in touch with me through the website. I would love to be of assistance to you if I can be. Until we meet again, be AWAP. Mwah.
Beep.
First is to start where you are. Tennis? Anybody for a game of tennis?